Inside of here is the old Pontiac V8.
This is a pallet of parts for the Firebird, and this is a GMC Sierra that's left me stranded for 4 days in North Dakota as I try to drive 4,400 miles from Newark, New Jersey to Anchorage, Alaska. Last episode, we pulled this car out of the woods in Talkeetna, Alaska, a town known as the gateway to Denali.
And now the car does look a little bit cleaner than we saw it last, and that is because we have been hard at work.
We have big plans in store for this car. Our ultimate goal is to road trip it from Anchorage, Alaska to Pleasanton, California for the Good Guys West Coast Nationals and Autocross event. And that is where our story begins today.
Our story started off in Talkeetna, Alaska to buy a seemingly untouched 1967 Firebird.
What do you think?
A pile did we just buy? An original unmodified classic like this is a great way to save some money, or lose your sanity.
Even though we bought this car in as-is condition, seemingly completely untouched, and missing its keys, it only took us a few hours to dig in and start the process to get the car running. And we thought for sure it would be a cleanup away from being a home run deal. If you didn't happen to see the last video where we tried to get it running after sitting in the woods for decades, go ahead, pause this video, and click the link down below in the description. It's well worth the watch and a great backstory into where we're at now.
But after a lot of prying and a little bit of sweating, we struck out.
Now, in the case of a non-running car, there's usual areas to diagnose and figure the problem out.
The oil dipstick hasn't been touched in over 40 years. Ooh. That's not good.
But in the case of a car that's been sitting untouched for decades in the woods, a lot of this logic just goes straight out the window.
In our case, the problem with the engine wasn't due to a lack of a starter or a bad battery. Instead, it ended up being a result of sitting for presumably decades uncovered without a carburetor, allowing all sorts of debris, water, and everything else to work its way inside the engine. Despite our best attempts, including lubricating the engine cylinders with penetrating oil, we were unable to save the original engine. So I suspect this motor's got internal damage. Someone may have blown it up intentionally. There's no oil on the dipstick, so something definitely has probably gone wrong in this motor.
We've worked on more first-gen F-body cars than I can name off the top of my head over the years.
Too many.
Always overpowered and underwhelming as far as handling goes. Years of sitting in the woods have made this car ripe for the picking, if you will.
Anything could crawl in.
Everything crawled in.
Yeah, everything crawled in. This has to be one of the worst interiors we've ever seen.
I think the overarching theme of this car is don't get it right, get it running.
Yes. Seriously? This only weighs 2,900?
Seriously.
2,977 it says.
Yeah, so it's about 60-40. Oof. I think we can improve on that.
We can definitely improve on that.
Now, let's face it, this car sucks. It's old, dirty, and worn out. I mean, most of the first-gen Camaros and Firebirds are terrible by today's modern engineering standards. They have huge engines, often overshadowed by a janky build done sometime in the 80s or 90s. They get terrible gas mileage and don't take corners all too well. And let's not get started on the brakes, but that's not the point. The body style is still one of the most beautiful ever produced by GM, at least I think so. And they aren't too terribly heavy, even by modern standards. So we're gonna get a little bit creative on this build. Our two objectives are great handling and the ultimate road trip car, think fuel efficiency. It's a good thing these aren't mutually exclusive. Which brings us up to now. Matt's dad has a tendency to shop on the internet, but I mean, don't we all? And he bought a truck clear across the continent in Bud Lake, New Jersey. Summers in Alaska are really short, and we want to make the most of it. So this is going to be our most ambitious project because we've got to get it done in a little less than 2 months. We're talking from completely stock to fully modded and driving the highway. So I'm going to fly to Bud Lake, pick up the pickup, and swing by a supplier or two along the way back to Alaska and grab a new chassis for our Firebird. Now, at this point, you're probably thinking, just LS swap the thing and get on with it. What are these guys on about? Each engine swap has its own list of pros and cons, so we're gonna LTG swap our Firebird instead. Now, what the heck is an LTG, you might be asking? Well, funny you should ask. GM's LTG engine is a turbocharged 4-cylinder gas engine used in various GM vehicles such as the Chevy Camaro, the Cadillac ATS, and the Chevy Malibu.
The LTG engine features a displacement of 2.0 liters and is equipped with direct fuel injection and a single twin-scroll turbocharger.
Ah, technology. This new engine's gonna get better mileage and make more power than the factory 326 ever did.
If you have all of your part numbers and don't need sales assistance, press 1.
We started off calling Summit Racing about a complete subframe kit they had in stock, but unfortunately, numerous calls were largely unhelpful and they were unable to provide pallet dimensions for the complete Hydroform DSE front subframe kit they had in stock in Talmadge, Ohio.
Well, miss, I guess I'll be on my way now.
there. Buying a truck on the other side of the country, you just never quite know what you're going to get. But more on this later. Not somewhere as of 2 days ago, I thought I would ever visit. Funny how that goes.
Hey.
Hey, so what's the word?
Well, when you were busy being sleepless in Seattle.
Hey now.
I got a hold of George at Heights, and yeah, he's got a Trojan front subframe in stock waiting for you.
What? How'd you pull that off?
I don't know. I just kind of called him up and got George, and he sort of just got to the point and was like, yeah, let's make this happen.
Wow, that's impressive. After the whole Summit debacle runaround thing.
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought.
I'm still a couple days away from Chicago. When did he say it's going to be ready?
Anytime before 4 p.m. tomorrow or after.
Oh, geez. Shoot, I better hustle. I've got a lot of driving to do, sir.
I know.
Did you ask them about the LTG? Like, could they do anything with the engine mounts? Or do they have, like, a universal mount or something?
Unfortunately not. All they have is, like, LS mount or an LT engine, and that's it. So, yeah.
Classic. Well, I guess we could just kind of, like, fabricobble something together if we have to.
Yep, I think we'll have to do that.
Well, hopefully that engine actually fits in the subframe.
We'll see. We'll cut it if they have to.
Right? Well, I just left Bud Lake. I'm on some highway. I think I have to take like toll highways to get there or something. I don't know. I'll like head into Pennsylvania and see how far I get tonight. It's going to be definitely a long drive to Chicago. I don't even know if I'll make it there tomorrow, but gosh, I can sure try. As long as like traffic's not too bad or something.
Yeah, might as well give it a try. You got it.
Motel 6, where you don't get shampoo. I just use a little bar of motel soap to wash my hair. It worked. No complaints. Okay. Goodbye, rockers. This street needs more flags. And this pretty much went on for days and days. See, the trip across America is very long. Days and days just kind of cruising down the highway. June is a beautiful time of year to drive across the middle of the United States, though. 19 minutes of traffic. Get on with it! Need an axle? This is the highway over a existing quarry. Interesting. Hello.
1450. Thank you. Have a good day.
Oh, you too. Thanks. Right now, I'm on the Ohio Turnpike, about 260 miles away from there. So.
Okay, well, he said they're open till 6. He said he leaves at 4.
I'm about 250 miles out. I should be there about 4:15-ish.
Okay.
Tell him I'm on the Ohio Turnpike right now, so he'll know.
Okay.
Great.
See ya.
Unfortunately, due to a lot of bad traffic near Indianapolis, I did not end up making it up to Heights the first day. So I stayed overnight at the Holiday Inn in Lake Zurich and drove down the street to Heights the next morning. This is Heights Automotive Group. Being that their production facility is in the same building as their offices, I was able to go back and see parts being made. Here they take a lot of the raw materials, round tubing, and so on and so forth, and transform it into various suspension bits and chassis components. They also have a research and design department at the back of the building, which was really neat to see, where they had a couple cars up on the lift. They were busy installing, test fitting, and modifying the suspension systems in-house. One little trick thing that I picked up on that I'll have to keep in the back of my head was the steel plates welded onto the safety stands underneath the cars. See, when we put the order in for the Pro G front subframe, we were planning on using the factory rear axle with like a RideTech 4-link kit. And while there's absolutely nothing wrong with a good old RideTech 4-link, new IRS would be pretty sweet. And the fact that we've never installed one before is good enough reason to give it a go, right? Got the pallet all loaded up. Next stop, Alaska. We got a full tank of gas. It's not night and I'm not wearing sunglasses. Let's go. It's nice out. I mean, it's 82 degrees, but it is windy. Holy cow. We have no power. The truck just stalled out. Just kind of coast up here. Huh. Well, it wouldn't be a good road trip without this thing, something going wrong. Brand new truck with 10,000 miles on it. What's happening is when I pull up to a stoplight, it has auto stop, so engine shuts off, saves gas, whatever. Starter engages as soon as you let off the brake. Well, the problem is it's not re-engaging when I let off the brake. It'll crank and it'll kind of misfire, but it won't actually start up. So luckily, this happened once in Target. I went down the street a little bit because I was looking for some food. And I happened to just stop in the center median to turn in here to this parking lot where I saw Harbor Freight Tools, just out of happenstance. Stalled again into the parking lot. So I bought an OBD2 code reader. I'm waiting for it to update on my iPhone here. I'm gonna scan the codes and let's see what's up. My guess is there's water in the fuel. One of the gas stations that I stopped at may have had bad gas, or maybe the hope is if I can get on the highway and it keeps running, I can just burn this tank out and it'll be okay, but we'll see here. Finally, it did throw a check engine light. So once I was able to get the scan tool paired to the truck, I was able to download the DTCs, and oh man, it was quite the list of stuff. At the time, I was thinking that there could have been water in the fuel potentially, so I was more interested in potentially just erasing the codes and seeing if I get the truck to run. The solution to the problem actually is in one of these screens, but more on that later. All right, I went and got some dinner. It's been sitting for about 30 minutes now. Let's pull the key out of the remote. A delicate operation to be sure. I have the battery unhooked. That's all good. I'm all set. I'm happy to drive if this works. So, foot on brake.